which, who knows? These steps get steeper every day. I'm not that old. I was the guy that gave God the idea to invent dirt. I'm that old. My next older brother says he can remember when rocks were still soft. I had some employees always gave me trouble about my age, and they said, "Hey, how'd you kill your food before they invented guns?" I said, "Well, when I was a kid, we waited for the dinosaurs to die of old age, went over and gnawed on them." They were just trying to always stump me. I think our spirit's trying to contact us.
So how old are you really?
69.
Oh, that's not bad. You're younger than my dad.
I'm just lucky my wife's let me live this long. Harvey, you got the highball.
I'm fine.
I know I can be a pain.
I apologize. I'm on.
Okay, anybody know what time it is?
Making a lot of dang noise right now. Can I call you back in about
No,
10 minutes?
it's time for the ghost story.
Ooh.
In fact, I thought that was the ghost trying to contact us. Now, it happened about 3 miles down the tracks. It was a big sweeping curve. And I've read the story, 2 different books. Both books told the same story, one exception. One said it happened 1889, the other said 1890. So I guess pick the year you like. Steam-powered train coming back to Eureka Springs late at night, way behind schedule. They're going down these tracks a lot faster than they're supposed to. In the cab of the engine was the engineer. His last name's Dobbins. There's a fireman. He's the poor guy, seems like almost constantly throwing wood into that firebox or shoving coal into it. Plus he's watching air pressure gauges, steam pressure gauges, water level in the boiler. If that level gets off, that boiler can explode. And then there's the brakeman. His job is to get off the train, throw the switch, move the train to different tracks as needed. Remember those headlights? They were huge. Didn't really put out that much light compared to a modern day light. But as they started into that curve, that light started shining on the caboose sitting dead still on the tracks in front of them. No train coupled to it. Couldn't figure out why there's just a caboose. Guess it doesn't matter. It's there. It's not moving. On the back platform of the caboose was the conductor. He's got a red lantern, and he's waving that lantern frantically, trying to get their attention so they'll stop and not slam into him. Well, of course, Dobbins hits the brakes. But he's going too fast, too close. Not to be able to stop in time, laid on those brakes even harder, hoping to stop. Not going to happen. Not much room left in those brakes. He eased them on just a little bit more, but unfortunately he locked up the wheels. So you've got steel wheels sliding on steel rails, almost like being on ice. He's not going to be able to stop. We told the other two, just to save their lives, jump off the train. As they were about ready to jump, he yells, "Wait! Look!" He looked up ahead of them. No conductor, no red lantern, no caboose. They knew what they'd seen, but now it's all gone. They've got open track. Well, it's a pretty quiet trip into Eureka while they were thinking about what happened. Got to the depot, told the station master about it. He didn't believe them. He said, "Each of you fill out a report. I want to see it." They turned in their reports and they were all identical. Each man reported seeing exactly the same as the others. The next day, the owner of the railroad wanted them to take him out where it happened. Maybe he could explain what they saw or what they didn't see. One of those men was so shaken up by the whole thing, he refused to get on any train that day and for several days after. Now, I don't know what they saw. I wasn't there. All I know is what the story tells. And apparently they saw something that affected them greatly, and one guy for quite a while. Now that's our ghost story. 2 years ago, afternoon excursion. Timing couldn't have been better if it'd been planned. As soon as I finished the last words of the ghost story, the window where you're sitting, ma'am, normally we have a wooden prop there if we have that window open, to prop it open since it did fall. That lady's eyes got about that big around. We're getting off the train at Eureka. She's coming down the steps. She said, "My window went down." I said, "Yeah, I saw that." She said, "I just petted it and told it everything was going to be okay." She got into the ghost story. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to come around and take your tickets, if you would please. Tear off the bottom 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches. It's perforated. Hand that to me. Then hand me the big part, and if they're stapled together, that's fine. I can punch 6 or 8 of them at a time. I'll put 2 punches in the big part, one for the trip down, one for the trip back, and that will be yours to keep as a little souvenir. Now back in the day, multiple coaches on a train, multiple conductors. Each one carried a punch and put a different design on the ticket from any other conductor working the train that day. That way, in case there's a problem, the railroad could tell who your conductor was by the design that the punch put on your ticket. I bought this one a couple of years ago, dates back to around 1930. Just put kind of a strange design on it, didn't know what it was. Punching tickets one day, handed it back to a lady, she said, "Well, that looks like you in profile." I looked at her ticket. You can see the top of the hat, the bill, and then a round head. Kind of looks like a conductor. So, tickets, please. There you can see those conductors. Tickets, please. First. Now my season is rapidly drawing to a close. I've only got 3 more days this season, then I'll be done for the year. Start back up again next year. So tell you what, I'm going to make you all a special offer. It's 2 per day. 2 pierced ears for the price of 1. No? Well, I don't pierce anything else. There's those conductors. Oh, that's what I'd say. Yeah, we got it already. Oh, somebody else has got my ticket. We're good. Now, I've talked a little bit about the steam locomotives that used to run here. The last one to run here had the engine number 201. It quit running 2001. Needed a new boiler. At that time, that would be almost $2 million. It wasn't owned by this railroad. Whoever owned it didn't want to put that kind of money into it, so it just sat on the siding up in the rail yard. Kids climbed all over it. Well, 3 years ago, a crew came in here, tore it apart. It and its original tender left here on the back of 4 flatbed trucks. Went to Eureka, Arkansas to get a complete cosmetic restoration, but unfortunately it'll never run. But it ended up in Anna, Texas. It used to do some work for some business in Anna. The city found out it was available. They bought it, had it refurbished, and now it's the centerpiece of their depot museum. I've seen pictures of it, looks good, but again, it's one of those things, Texas took it from us. Yeah, no, it looks like it's going to a good place to retire. But you know, that old locomotive did something much greater than work here and work in Anna. Helped build the Panama Canal. When the United States took over construction from the French, an American company took 100 steam locomotives by ship to Panama to do the work, provide transportation. When everything was finished, they put them back on board ship to bring them back home. But somewhere off the East Coast, the owner of all those locomotives all of a sudden thought, what am I doing? I'm bringing back all these lightly used locomotives. I'm going to flood the market. I'm trying to sell new ones for a lot more money. So he made a business decision. He had 95 of them shoved overboard. They rested at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Only 5 made it back. 201 is one of those 5, and it's one of only 3 that still exist today. Unfortunately, 2 others have been scrapped, and none of the 3 run anymore. It's a shame. Kind of part of our history that's just gone forever. Well, on our trip today, I've told you the history of Eureka Springs and the railroad, the way I've researched the stories, the way I've heard the stories. I haven't embellished any. No need to. History here is so rich. But I'm going to tell you another story. It has to do with the healing spring water and me. A pastor asked me one day if I truly believe in the healing powers of that spring water, and I said, be honest with you, I think it's more the placebo effect. If you believe strongly enough, maybe it'll work. Right now, I can honestly tell you I'm not quite sure what to believe. Next December 2nd, it'll be 4 years ago. I was home in my kitchen. My legs buckled and I hit the floor. I couldn't get up. Just that fast, I was paralyzed from the waist down. I was rushed to the hospital. We didn't know what was happening. They finally diagnosed me with Guillain-Barré syndrome. Some people pronounce it Guillain-Barré. But it's one of the listed side effects of the common flu shot, the shingle shot, and now the Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine. I'd had the flu shot 2 weeks earlier. This condition causes your body to eat away at the outside lining of your nerves so they don't work right. I could feel my legs if I scratched them, but I couldn't even wiggle a toe. Well, they kept me in the hospital for a week. To some people, it moves up. it can paralyze their diaphragm and they can't breathe. They'll die unless they're put on a ventilator. Well, after a week, they figured I'd stabilized. They were going to send me home. Neurologist came in. She says, Greg, I just want you to know, you're probably not going to walk for at least 2 years, if ever. And if you ever walk again, you probably won't walk normally. And as of right now, your immune system is totally flat, so stay away from people. Tickets, please. Because even a common cold could become fatal. And they sent me home just like that. Well, I think you can imagine a lot of depression, a lot of sleepless nights. I have to admit, some pretty bad thoughts went through my head too. I just didn't know how I was going to deal with life without the use of my legs. Well, I was laying in bed one night, not able to sleep, and I started thinking about this job, and I do love this job. I was afraid I could never do it again. Well, I just started doing the tour over in my head, just kind of pass the time till I could get sleepy. And, well, I got to the part about Dr. Jackson, that hidden spring water. Right then, I made up my mind I was going to drink it. I've got nothing to lose. Well, I sent my wife to one of the springs closer to our house, easier for her to get the water. I figured all these springs come off the same water table. If it's going to work for one, it's going to work for the next. And I was going to drink it. But then all of a sudden I remembered my immune system is flat. I was afraid there might be some germs or bacteria in that water my body couldn't deal with. I didn't know what to do, yet I wanted to drink the water. And you know, it came to me in a dream what to do. And this is apparently what worked for me. I took a glass about like that, filled it about halfway with that spring water, filled it up the rest of the way with some Arkansas moonshine that I had, just to kill any germs. I stirred that up and I downed it. My wife said it was a miracle. In about 30 minutes, my depression was totally gone. She said I was laughing and giggling and everything. I drank a glass of that every night before I went to bed. No more sleepless nights, slept like a baby. And you know, before long, I started walking. Yeah, kind of walking like a baby, but by God, I'm walking. Well, I hit the ground December 2nd. I was able to come back and do this job the very next May. I was very, very lucky. I swear my ex-wife pays him to blow those whistles, because I can't talk while you're blowing. But I do consider myself very lucky. A lot of people, well, a lot of long-lasting bad side effects. Minor, I can deal with them. And some people just plain don't survive this. But you know, I do give the credit to the water. But I don't think the other stuff hurt me darn bit either, though. But you talk about something harsh. Woo! One drink of that will grow hair right down the middle of your chest. Ladies, don't worry, second drink burns it right back off. No, I was very, very lucky. Well, we're pulling in the depot. I always tell everybody I've got the greatest job in the world, and I do believe it. What little boy didn't want to grow up and work on a train? Apparently it took me a long time to grow up. I couldn't do this till after I retired. But it is the greatest job, at least to me, and I owe a big debt of gratitude to you all, my passengers. Seeing your smiles, seeing your reactions when I tell some of the stories. You're the ones that make this the world's greatest job, so thank you. I do appreciate you.